CJ Stroud, after the game, after he vanquishes the detestable Indianapolis Colts.
I just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. Woo, it's a good game. It's a lot of respect for those guys over there. And to be my first season to make the playoffs, man, it's been a heck of a year, man. I'm blessed enough to be in this position for this great organization, this great city of Houston. And, man, I'm just blessed, man. The words can't explain how proud I am of my teammates. And without them, there's no me or no winning, or you know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing just to be able to be part of something special.
Okay, referencing his teammates, that's a standard. He always does that. Hidden thing that I've always really liked about CJ, and this is something you might not notice, comes up to the podium, gives a statement. That's like a head coach type of thing to do. You set the tone, you get the message you want out there in case. Because sometimes, man, sometimes you go into a press conference and you want to say something and then nobody asks the question. And then at the end, you're not going to be like, well, at the end, you want to get out of there. Because if you're me, you're hypoglycemic by then. But you also, you're like, it feels weird to tack that on at the end. It feels like an afterthought. He's very mature, people. Listen, Cleveland, I know that some of you are here via the algorithm. Let me tell you this. I think the Texans might have the more mature quarterback. I know Flacco's probably got 17 kids by now and everything. And I will say, look, Joe Flacco, honestly, he's got kind of a vibe going about him now, does he not? Ladies, back me up on this. I feel like Joe Flacco was never somebody I thought of as like a good-looking guy. I look at him now and I'm like, this guy might have he's got a little bit of that, he's like that salt and pepper handsomeness to him. Good job, Joe Flacco.
Last drive.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to read these. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll down to D'Amico. The question was, how are you feeling about your performance and everybody else's? Oh, no, that was the first question. He didn't give a statement. I take back everything I said, damn it. All right. Somebody wanted him to take him through that last drive.
What did you take me through that last drive?
Yeah, I told him before we went out there, this is the most important drive of the year. And the look that I got back from my teammates, man, it was like, man, let's ride. Like, it was like, let's do this thing. It was nobody holding their hat down on a previous play or anything like that. It was just like, man, let's go win this game. Let's do it. And every play, like, even we moved backwards, I think, 2 or 3 times. Like, we had 3 penalties, and we still, like, persevered through that. And I just think that's a testimony to the work we put in, type of guys that we brought into the system, our coaching staff, how they called a great game. Just a multitude of an organization just putting it together, and I'm just blessed enough to be a part of it.
Yeah, that last drive was 12 plays, which included penalties, some negative plays. That sack was huge, which underrated part of that game and CJ's decision-making ability was that sack where it was he had a free rusher coming at him, that he actually just went down. He heard footsteps and went down instead of taking what could have been a really big hit. Even by today's legal hit standards, that could have been a really bad hit because it would have been blindside. He could have gone down and hit his head. Having the wherewithal to have that feeling and to just go down right there, my God, yes. Fitting that he did it in Indianapolis, because nobody was better at going down when he needed to take a dive than Peyton Manning. Be a coward.
First play of the game, is that kind of the plan all week long, or did you see something the defense was giving you?
Okay, so the first play of the game, is that the plan all week long, or did you see something from the defense? For those of you who missed the first play of the game, the Texans, much like the Colts did 2 weeks prior, they went deep on the very first play and hit Nico Collins for a 75-yard touchdown.
Oh, we didn't think they were going to be in that coverage, but slow as a dog, man. Slow as that guy. So he had a feeling like we can hit him up top, and Nico did a great job creating separation. I tried to do my best to get it out there, and I remember like watching Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, the first play of the game. I think it was like 2010 or something like that, and they just let it fly. And once I knew the first play was gonna be that, I just kept thinking about that. So, man, it's cool just to see Nico just ball out, and that was a special first play, man. Special.
Yeah, that cornerback had outside leverage on that, which would you think that he maybe thought that he was going to get some help from the safety, but the safety stayed down there. So that's one of those moments where it's got to be like you got to control your emotions not to get that little twinge where you end up gunning it too hard or too soft or errantly. In my experience as a quarterback back in 4th grade, that's how it was.
Obviously, Nico, you guys, everybody has to contribute to this thing. Nico steps up when you guys are way thin at wide receiver, and it's all night long, no matter what they're trying to do. What kind of performance did he put together? What kind of lift did he give this football team to go out there with 195 in this kind of state?
So he was, I think that was Greg Bailey, asked about Nico and the lift that he gave the Texans with forgetting. Greg said 195. I like that, 195 yards.
I think he just stamped who he is. I told him when our first time ever working out together, I said, bro, you a superstar. Even though I was young, I never even snapped the ball yet in the league, but I know good receivers. I played at Ohio State where we have tremendous receivers, and you see what they did. But I told him, man, my goal is to make you look as best as you can, to make you look like you. And I appreciate him just being just a consistent, great friend to me, somebody who I can just let my hair down with, and I think our chemistry, it shows on the field. Our friendship shows on the field. So I'm super proud of that dude, man. And it's just the beginning for him, just the beginning. And I feel like our other receivers did a great job too when their numbers were called, and I'm proud of those guys, man. They stepped up big time this week, especially in the run game, and even in the pass game. Like even being a team player and clearing it out, or doing just small things that a lot of people don't want to do in this league, but that's what wins games. And I'm just proud of those guys too.
Him telling him he was a star right off when he met him, and it's true. That's cool. Him talking about Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. and all the other guys from Ohio State that he's had experience with. But the way he kind of talks about his receivers and wanting to get them fed and get them paid and all that stuff, I just can't stop thinking about like basketball point guards. I don't know. CJ was a very good basketball player because I was watching. Who was it? Was it Jason Williams? I think it was Jason Williams earlier talking about when he was young and he'd go out and play at the park. The only way he was going to get on or pick back up again if they lost was if he fed the ball to other guys. And so many young point guards have that story of being an undersized guy. I think I'd love to hear like CJ's basketball side of that. And if obviously the skills transfer, but some of the attitude of really understanding like, oh, okay, my job is to get these guys the ball. I can do that.
You take a chance to relax a little bit tomorrow and watch.
Very common Jason Williams, CJ Stroud comparison there.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the games, just get some recovery in, and just see what goes down. Just prepared to see what happens.
So remember, this was after the game. So this was before CJ knew that he was the AFC South Division winner.
In preseason, that you guys are going to talk to the world. Now you're in a position where the guys are making playoffs. How special is it to be a part of this moment?
I think basically just how special is it to be a part of this moment was the question.
It's tremendously special. It's just, like I said before, just a multitude of great people and a great organization putting together just time. Like one thing that I think about, like all the time we spend together, away from our families, away from our hometowns, away from people we love. Like it means something now. Like it always has, but just the time that we put in together to see it kind of for the fruits of that labor to come to be. It's a blessing, man. I'm just blessed to be a part of this.
Two more guys.
CJ, your mom has always been at the most important games for you.
So that's Tank. He said your mom has always been one of the most important things for you.
She was here tonight just to be able to do that, and not for only the city of Houston, but for her in the stands.
Okay, so your mom's always been important to you. She was here tonight just to be able to do that, and not just for the city of Houston, but for her in the stands.
Yeah, I kept looking at her. More times than not, I don't be finding her. But she was so close I could hear her. Yeah, she prays. So, like, honestly, like, when I look up and I see her praying, man, it just gives me a sense of comfort, like, a sense of, like, man, like, my mama praying for me, like, it's got to go good, So I love my mom to death. She's so supportive of me. She's been with me through thick and thin, and I love her to death, man. My sister as well, my brother. my other brother Isaiah. I miss him. I love him. And just really all my support staff, like I'm a support staff, excuse me, my supportive family, Caleb, my best friends, STN back home, the city of the IE, like, just like most of the people who poured into me as a kid to see me do what I'm doing now, man, it's a tremendous blessing.
Okay, so he looks for his mom in the stands. That's really cool. Except he doesn't always find her. I feel like that's putting a lot of pressure on his mom. We gotta be sure that women. How are the restrooms? What's the restroom situation like in NRG? I don't usually see a lot of women waiting in long lines outside of them. Is it pretty good? Is it bad? Like Minute Maid gets bad sometimes for the ladies. I know. Maybe I'm just ignorant and haven't seen the women standing outside the restrooms. But we need CJ's mom to be sure she's always back in her seat as soon as possible. Damn it.
You'll find out later if you're playing, but
I got you.
You'll find out later if you're playing. But for now, just knowing that you guys have already been through and built some grit, won along these close games, that makes you built even better for playoff football.
So the question was, do you feel like all the grit you guys have had this season will help you in a playoff game?
100%. Yeah, we definitely know what it takes to win. And I always tell them boys, like, it don't got to be close. So hopefully, man, we start putting 4 quarters together. But in these type of games, man, like, that's kind of how it goes. You know, it's uphill battle. It's up and down. And all you want is the dub. So we're proud of that.
Last question. How does it feel to give the franchise this moment tonight? And then after this, I want to I got an article from the Cleveland.com that is letting Cleveland people know about the Houston Texans. So I'm curious what they're saying. Sometimes you see a blind spot when they tell you something like that.
I asked Nico the same question. Rookie head coach, a lot of gone with this franchise wrong the last couple of years. Hannah and Cal hired him to be the rookie head coach. A lot of work went into for them to draft you as well. Hannah runs off the field tonight, screaming she can't stop crying. So give her that moment.
He had mentioned that Hannah ran off the field, and I'm sure many of you saw it, screaming, I can't stop crying. Screaming, I mean, but like in a happy way, not like, I can't stop crying.
The conversation I had on the phone with Mr. McNair when I got drafted was like it was like, man, like God sent him like to be a part of my life, and Miss McNair has been amazing as well. Just like, because I mean, it's my first team, so I really don't know, but like a lot of my teammates say, man, a lot of other places aren't like that, you know. So I'm just blessed enough to be with them through this time, you know. And DeMeco is a perfect guy for this job, man. He brings something out of his players that like is undescribable, just like that strain, that mental stability, that toughness that he talks about. So, man, I can do nothing but just be appreciative and just be thankful for where I was picked and like the situation we're in now, and it's just been a blessing.
If there's one thing I would say that's really, really important these days, having seen a young quarterback decide that he wanted to get out of here, which, hey, Browns fans, I'll tell you a story. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but Deshaun Watson used to be here in Houston, and after a few years, he didn't want to be here anymore. It got kind of yada, yada, yada. He's somewhere else now. I don't know. I haven't seen him play in a while. But I think the big thing is, if you think about the ideal situation in terms of keeping your quarterback and having peace, is the Kansas City Chiefs, where Mahomes had such a great experience there his first few years, obviously, that he signed a very team-friendly 10-year deal, and he wanted to be ingrained in that city. Like, he just flat out wanted to be a huge part of that city, bought a bunch of bought interest in businesses and sports teams in the city. And that's the opportunity you have. I think like CJ's wired that way, where he just wants to be a part of something. So hopefully, whether it's with Super Bowl victories or not, like creating that kind of environment instead of just having his head beat in for 3 straight years, can hopefully go a long way.